All right, it's your boy Spank Dog, aka Puffinstein, at YouTube. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You already know. Let's get right into it. Not too long ago, about I believe 2 or 3 days ago, ICE agents encountered a U.S. soldier. He tried to explain to them that he was on his way to work. ICE rolled up to a cannabis farm and they started trying to round people up. In the course of that, they ran into somebody who definitely belongs in the United States. He's a U.S. soldier. This man ends up in jail for 3 days. I don't even understand how La Migra has the right to arrest a soldier. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's gotten to the point where Border Patrol are arresting, Navy SEALs, the Rangers, Special Forces, Green Berets, because that's what it seems like. If they're going to stop this man from going to work and he's a U.S. soldier, and then they put him in jail for 3 days, that's my thing. He didn't even do anything. How does he end up in jail 3 days over what the Border Patrol has to say about him? First of all, didn't belong in jail. It's just supposed to be about right and wrong. You get what I'm saying? Like, how much power does ICE have that they could put an army soldier in prison for 3 days? So, but anyway, let's get to it. Let me pull up the video real quick. All right, let's get it.
Pay close attention to those ICE agents surrounding the white car in the background, because back in early July, when ICE descended on farmland in Ventura County, California, a U.S. citizen and Army veteran, George Reeds, got caught up in the crossfire and felt the full force of Donald Trump's anti-immigrant bigotry. This other piece of footage shows a more complete picture of what unfolded while Reeds tried to leave the scene.
He exited his car and tried to tell the officers he was going to work legally as a citizen. Agents then surrounded his car, banging on his windows. George, he tried to back away from the agents, but was pepper sprayed. His car engulfed. He says when he then was pinned down by 2 officers and then arrested, George was held for 3 days at the Metropolitan Detention Center in downtown Los Angeles. No charges were filed. He had no access to an attorney, and he missed his 3-year-old daughter's birthday.
Reddit says,
oh man, the birthday. I didn't even know about the birthday. But you see what I'm talking about. And he missed his baby's birthday. Look at this man. As you can see, he is down for this country.
he clearly identified himself as a citizen, but federal agents ignored him. They smashed the window of his car and dragged him out at gunpoint. The U.S. veteran then spent 3 days.
How do you engulf him in pepper spray or tear gas?
In detention without ever being charged with a crime. He was denied a phone call, legal representation, and medical care despite being pepper sprayed and tear gassed during the raid. His family had no idea where he was or how to contact him.
Reed's case and all of the other similar cases we've seen are exactly why we've been so outspoken in sounding the alarm about the dangers these operations expose our fellow Americans to. Any assault and infringement on the civil rights of the marginalized is an attack on everyone else's civil rights. And you just need to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, citizen or not, to be subjected to that brutality yourself.
They eventually break my driver's side window and they continue to drag me out of the car, throw me to the ground. Takes multiple officers to detain me for some reason, even though I have OC on my face and I can't breathe. My hands are already behind my back. I have an agent kneeling on my back and another agent kneeling on my neck. All while I'm telling them I can't breathe because of the OC in my face and the
What a coincidence. He looks Spanish. He's a U.S. soldier.
tear gas in my lungs. They didn't care to listen, and they still abused their power.
You presented identifications showing that you were a U.S. citizen. They didn't bat an eye at that?
They didn't even allow me to show identification. They asked for my social security number. They asked, that's the only thing they asked for is like my social on a piece of paper and what I filled out.
So you were trying to identify yourself multiple times here, your name, where you were born, your social security number, to no avail?
No one cared that I was a citizen.
They booked us and everything. They threw us into a cell. They didn't care to check on any medical, any like issues wrong with us. They didn't care about what happened to us or anything or why we're even there. They just put us in a cell without anything, phone call, attorney, speaking to anyone. They just threw us.
See, like people think it's just Trump, the Border Patrol, getting rid of people that don't belong here. And that's not the case. And Republicans somewhat is that Democrats understand that there's gray areas, that there's things beneath the surface. While it seems to me like Republicans think everything is black and white, everything is clear cut. Until their family member, their son is wrapped up in something and now they understand, you know, it's not just where everything is straight laced, walk the straight and narrow, don't ever make a mistake or you'll pay. You know, and then I've seen people that judge, literally judges, get pulled over for DUI and now the shoe's on the other foot and they want mercy. They lie. When I've seen, you know, I don't want to exaggerate, but I've seen at least like 3 or 4 instances where a judge gets pulled over for a DUI and they're trying to escape it. What happened to all that? If you play, you pay.
In a cell.
There's all these parts of process that happen if you get arrested for something that are required by the Constitution and by subsequent judicial opinions. You just sat in a cell for 3 days?
Yes, I sat in a cell for 3 days.
Could you call somebody? Could you talk to anyone?
No, they didn't let me call anyone. They didn't let me talk to a lawyer. They didn't even let me shower when I was covered in tear gas and CO spray and my body was burning. Knowing that I would miss my daughter's birthday, that was the biggest one for me. It's hard, if I'm being honest. Just knowing that I will never get that chance to.
He fights for this country and you take his daughter's birthday from him. That's how you reward him. When the conservatives, Republicans, politicians, especially the Republican Party, talk about we got to take care of our people, he is your people. This is the man that Trump would order to do something, and he would most likely follow the command, hopefully only if it was lawful. What I'm telling you is you just destroyed one of your own people.
To know that I wasn't there. I wasn't even able to get her a gift. So it's a terrible feeling. I missed a lot. I missed a lot when they locked me up, and it was just a lot to deal with and a lot that happened. I just can't wrap my head around it, if I'm being honest with you.
What I find so disturbing about how law enforcement treated George Reitz is, well, the blatant disregard for his humanity and his rights. Here's a U.S. citizen, an Iraq War veteran, on his way to his job as a security guard who encountered an ICE roadblock. Instead of being treated like a fellow American, he was treated like a criminal. An officer broke his car window, pepper sprayed him, and then dragged him out of his car, forcing him to the ground, putting a knee on his neck and back, even though he was not resisting. This is a man who was covered in tear gas, pepper spray, yet he wasn't allowed to shower in the 3 days he was held. They detained him without checking his ID, held him in an isolation cell. No communication, no hearing before a judge, no access to an attorney, no phone calls, no family, held for 3 days, 3 nights, never charged with a crime, released without a single apology. He even missed his daughter's 3rd birthday. His pleas for an explanation were met with silence. Now, it's been a month since he was first detained, held in custody for all that time. He's going on the offensive. Reitz is fighting the Trump administration the best way he can right now.
What he's done now is file administrative claims against the federal agencies that are involved. And the reason for that is,
let's get them lawsuits going. Hit them where it hurts, the pockets. The only language they know is money.
Is that there's a statute called the Federal Tort Claims Act. And it is one of the most viable ways to hold the federal government accountable for violating people's constitutional rights. When he was released, he was given a form that just says he was detained pursuant to arrest. That's That's no explanation for his 3-day, 3-night detention, much less without a phone call, without a hearing before a judge, without access to an attorney, without a shower, with pepper spray all over his body. These are basic violations of Georgia's federal constitutional rights and his rights under California law.
It's important to hold everyone accountable, to make sure that no one is above the law. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do. Everyone has to follow the law. Everyone needs to be held accountable. And I think that's super important, especially for people who don't get the chance to speak or are too scared to speak. Someone has to hold people accountable.
When they would say accountability, you know, as I got older, I started to understand how important it is. But accountability it's major important.
This case directly undermines the administration's played out defense that they're only going after criminals. George Reitz is a U.S. citizen, Army veteran with no criminal record. He's exactly the kind of person the government is supposed to protect, not illegally detained. This case proves that when law enforcement is weaponized for political purposes, no one's safe. Trump administration has blurred the lines between law enforcement, the military, a political militia, and the future may hold for all of us if Donald Trump and the Republicans continue to weaponize law enforcement and the military against civilians under the guise of promoting safety, reducing crime. Complete breakdown of our civil liberties. That's what it is. We need an independent legal system, and we need to be free of these attacks, this dangerous path. George Reitz said he's fighting for others, not just himself. He's doing his part to repair the relationship between us and our government, just as he did his part when he served in Iraq.
Big shout out to TYT. Big shout out to Sharon Reed. It's your boy Spank Dog, aka Pufferstein, at YouTube. Much love, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Definitely drop a comment. Let me know what you think about the situation. Be safe out there.